can you update us on injuries and David Edwards' situation specifically?
Yeah, typical bumps and bruises from the game. Really, David Edwards, the only one, just he's in the concussion protocol again.
Okay. The Panthers obviously going through some upheaval today with the firing their coach, defensive coordinator. You're not going to have their first two quarterbacks coming in. In terms of an opponent to face, in the midst of what you guys are going through, is this a welcome opponent, or how do you kind of assess it?
Yeah, it's the next game that we play. There's circumstances and situations, whether you look at them, they're good or bad, that you have to deal with in this league week to week. And, I hate to see, changes like that. That's the tough part of our business. It is production driven. And, you hate that for, the profession because of the respect and the challenges that we all face. But for us, it's about getting ready to play the Panthers. And what that looks like is something that we're in the midst of kind of figuring out as it relates to our game plan in all three phases. Knowing that they have some turnover with certain coaches that won't be there, that were maybe in leadership roles on one side of the ball or the other. But we've just got to get ready to play a good, clean game. We've got to be able to figure out how to adjust to all the different moving parts that we have relative to our personnel, and then attack the opponent next. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jordan.
Hey, Sean, you guys, as you said a couple of times, you guys are in problem solving mode right now. Obviously, I know what your responsibilities are with that schematically, but in terms of the organization as a whole, would you expect this group to kind of continue its ethos of being aggressive in pursuing changes and pursuing solutions, even if they come from outside the building?
Yeah, that's always something that we're exploring. But I think the main focus and concentration right now, Jordan, is figuring out how to adjust and adapt with all of our moving parts, figure those players out that are maybe very new to us, or the different circumstances and situations that have arisen through the first 5 weeks. And it has been different, but everybody deals with different things, and we have to do a better job. And I've got to do as good a job as possible of figuring that out. And then ultimately it's on the players to be able to execute.
And then in terms of your offensive line, Rob Havenstein led a players' offensive line meeting today. He told us earlier this morning. And I wonder, in terms of that group, are you looking to keep the current continuity that you guys entered, obviously minus David, maybe not?
Continuity? There's been no continuity this year at all. So that the word doesn't apply, right?
Yeah. So you're getting to the crux of my poorly worded question, in that, like, because you've had no continuity, would there be any hesitation to shake things up even more in terms of trying guys out who maybe are newer to you at certain positions?
No, we're looking for any and all solutions that we think are best.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Gilbert.
Hey, Sean, just going off of that, if David Edwards can't play, would it be Bobby Evans still, or maybe Ode gets a shot?
Yeah, we're working through all that right now.
And Sean, you mentioned yesterday that Stafford needs help, but what can you do as coaches to help him out? Is that maybe scheme changes? What can you do?
Yeah, anything is on the table. And so we're all a part of this. We're all in it together. I think being able to figure out how to best operate, how to best stay efficient when we run the football, how to make sure all 11 are connected, how there's clarity for those guys. So there's not one all-encompassing answer, but the answer is that everybody can be a little bit better, no doubt about it. We're all in it together.
Is any thought about, playing Blanton a little more? He's your best blocking tight end. Maybe could that help out?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player for us. I'm not sure, Higbee's pretty good football player as well. Higbee's an excellent football player. I love Kendall, but we're looking at any ways that we can possibly explore improving as an offense, because there's a lot of things that we have to do better. It's not one all-encompassing problem, but we have to do better, and there's no way around it.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Greg.
Hey, Sean. Tutu made his big breakthrough catch yesterday, and obviously he's had trouble getting a lot of opportunities to do something. Has he kept up the same mentality that you talked about in training camp in terms of like getting better and being invested in a way that maybe he was still struggling to learn in his rookie season?
Yeah, I think the thing about that, Greg, was more of the injury that he sustained, as a rookie. But I've been pleased with him. I thought he made a great play, on a great player yesterday. Great throw and catch. Definitely provided a spark, and need to figure out how to continue to give him more opportunities, and we'll see what that looks like. But I was happy for Tutu to make that play. That was a great play yesterday.
And going back kind of what Jordan was saying, what have you and Coach Carberry seen from O'Day and from Matt Skora since they got here? Is it hard to get into, a new system coming in cold, late September or whatever, and figure it out in time to play on Sundays?
Yeah, it is, because of the amount of opportunities that you get to even evaluate them, whether that be on a short week coming off of Monday Night Football or even a couple weeks ago. And, these guys haven't been here long. In a lot of instances, you get 3 practices where 2 of them you're getting a good amount of work, and then one of them's kind of a couple periods, but then you're getting a lot of above the neck work. So there's some challenges there, but both these guys have played a lot of NFL football. We've got to continue to figure out, all right, what is the best 5 based on the bodies and the availability that we have. And those guys are both here with maybe the expectation and anticipation that they'll be playing at some point for us.
Thank you.
Dennis.
Hello, Coach McVay. How are you?
Doing great, Dennis. How you doing?
Good. Outside of Pollard's big run yesterday, how would you describe the defense and the way the defense was able to limit Dallas' big play abilities?
Yeah, I think, both of those backs did a good job being able to fall forward. I thought we were pretty much, for the most part, pretty sturdy. There's a couple of those leaky yards that I know we want to be able to clean up defensively, but I was pleased with the defense overall. They did a good job, and kind of similar to what I had mentioned to you guys after the game. That was a great individual effort by Pollard. We've got to be able to tackle better there. And then I thought he and Zeke both did a good job of kind of being able to fall forward. So we want to try to knock out and eliminate some of the leaky yards. But as a whole, I thought the defense did a good job.
And as a follow-up, how would you describe the way the young defensive backs are continuing to play week in, week out?
Tough, competitive, resilient. I've been really pleased with Darian Kendrick, and I think Grant Haley's shown up in a lot of ways that I'm not surprised about, in a good, positive way.
Thank you.
Gary.
Hey, Sean. I'm just curious, you're obviously frustrated with how things are going offensively. And how do you balance, controlling your own frustration while relaying to your players, not keeping them up, keeping them motivated and looking forward without that frustration kind of clouding preparation?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the first thing is you show the things that need to be fixed, whether that be from some of the decisions or situations they're put in, or where there's execution errors that we can be better in. And you show them why the steps moving forward are solution oriented instead of just blaming people. That's not the way that I believe in operating. It's about collective accountability that's shared, but also having solution oriented approaches, and something that we work really hard to try to figure out. There are a lot of moving parts. And like I said, none of which is an excuse. It's got to be better. We're all in it together, but yes, it's because we care so much. And I think you want to make sure that you guide your emotions in a manner that's reflective of where are we finding solutions, instead of being pissed off about what hasn't occurred, because what's already occurred is not something that we can do anything to change. But what we can adjust is, let's look at where these shortcomings and some of these setbacks have come. What can we do to minimize the impact of those things? And that's where, in a lot of the instances, the last couple of weeks, some of the mental mistakes that have occurred that have never been reflected in the last 5 years of how we've operated have reared its ugly head. And that, to me, is, that's on coaching. That's on me. And that's where I really get irritated, because I'm not doing a good enough job of communicating the clarity that's necessary. And then there's going to be some instances where we execute and guys make a great play. And then if they don't, how can we provide the fundamental technique solutions while also acknowledging that the enemy has a say? And sometimes the best thing you could do is say, get back in the huddle, reset, and let's freaking go the next play.
Thank you.
We'll wrap up with you, Jordan.
Sean, to that point, that constructive criticism and some of the problem solving, you had made it a major point and told us about it this offseason to really work through the run game. And I know you say every play is different and it's kind of just a lot of different things and it's all 11, but to kind of what you just said, to Gary's question, can you help us understand where some of that disconnect is coming from? Can you help us understand why that isn't where it needs to be right now?
Yeah, I think the full answer would take a really long period of time, but ultimately it's about versatility, consistency in terms of our operation, everybody doing what they're supposed to do. And, I know you look at the game through a very great lens in terms of the nuanced understanding. And sometimes it's missing a block, a combination. Sometimes it's maybe getting a playoff that we don't like versus that look that we can help with as coaches. And then sometimes it's the back missing it. And, there is so many layers to the run game. It depends on the types of concepts and things that we're trying to activate. But we've been at our best when there's an identity, but enough versatility to be able to alleviate stress off of some of your core concepts. And it takes all 11. And it has been a challenge because we've never had the same guys up front. We've had backs that haven't really practiced. We're trying to get a bunch of different things going. All of which is an excuse that just, is what I think is for weak-minded people. I'm not going to make them, but we just got to continue to keep swinging and keep plugging along and figure it out because, nobody cares and we got to fix it.